Well, it has been a fairly epic victory speech over there of the Prime Minister, speaking not just about the tremendous performance of the BJP in the three states, but also looking at the future. And I think towards the rest of this evening, we'll be looking at what these elections mean to the future as well. It has, of course, been a truly incredible day of Indian politics. Several hours into the counting of votes into 4 states, the results are clear. The BJP has walked home with wins in 3, Rajasthan, MP and Chhattisgarh. The Congress finds a consolation win in Telangana. Addressing BJP workers, and you were just watching that, the Prime Minister attributed the win to the power of the woman vote, young voters, Adivasis and farmers, making it clear that these are the groups that the BJP will focus on. Nari Shakti was at the heart of what he said, promising women that the guarantees that have been made will be guaranteed by him personally. Women and their requirements will be met. He also said that Adivasis had been liberated from the Congress, which kept them in a perpetual state of backwardness. The bottom line, development, the core of the BJP's agenda. He said that was at the core of the BJP's agenda for these elections. It will remain so for the time going forward. Maria?
And the Prime Minister emphasizing on what he said was politics of performance. And
Right.
on the dais, an interesting image of what the BJP has been emphasizing on. And if I were to read the poster which was behind the Prime Minister, it said, "Sapne nahi hakikat bunte hain, tabhi to sab Modi ko chunte hain." I think that is the message with which the BJP will be going forward. A quick word on this: over the next 1 hour, the Prime Minister will be at the BJP headquarters. There would be an important meeting of core group which will be happening, which will be followed by a parliamentary board meeting in which the number of observers will be decided. 3 observers or perhaps 2 will be sent to the states. So the process of government formation begins now. Sanjay sir.
So ये जो स्पीच थी, आज बिजी थे वो दिन भर. हम लोगों को ओबामा और बाइडन के स्पीच राइटर्स का पता है, मोदी जी के स्पीच राइटर्स का नहीं पता है. लेकिन आज की स्पीच बहुत ही पावरफुल थी और फ्यूचर का वो प्लान भी बता रहे हैं कि आगे क्या होने वाला है. और जैसा उन्होंने कहा कि भविष्यवाणी मैं करता नहीं हूं, लेकिन लोगों ने कह दिया कि 2024 की हैट्रिक भी अब करीब करीब गारंटीड है. तो मोदी की गारंटी is the new catchphrase. The entire focus is on performance and a serious challenge for opposition कि ये जो गरीबी की पॉलिटिक्स है, जिसको कहते हैं मनोदारिद्र्य हिंदी में, मनोदारिद्र्य की जो पॉलिटिक्स है, उसके खिलाफ पब्लिक में एक प्रकार का एवर्शन है. उसको भी मोदी जी ने बड़ी खूबी के साथ हाईलाइट किया. और कास्ट वाले पर उनका जो काउंटर अटैक है, वो फ्रेमवर्क देख लीजिए कि 4 ही जातियां हैं, युवा, गरीब, किसान, महिला, और जनजाति वाले पॉइंट को उन्होंने 5वें पॉइंट के तौर पर जोड़ा. तो अभी जब आप डेटा देखेंगे तो पाएंगे कि करीब 20-25 सीटें ऐसी हैं जो बीजेपी ने कांग्रेस से वापस ली हैं आदिवासी इलाकों की. छत्तीसगढ़, मध्य प्रदेश और राजस्थान की ये सीटें. इंटरेस्टिंग ये है कि तेलंगाना में वोट शेयर बढ़ाया है. और तेलंगाना में जिस तरीके से उन्होंने वहाँ के लोगों से बात करने की कोशिश की, you can anticipate some major plan unfolding the way Tamil Nadu is seriously on the radar of Mr. Modi, and he keeps doing things about Tamil Nadu. Telangana will be the next.
So you are saying that these are catchment areas. But Sanjay sir, if we were to look at southern India, why is this new narrative which has emerged in the last 3-4 hours of southern India not really buying in the double engine narrative of the BJP?
ये जो इशू है नॉर्थ और साउथ वाला, ये जो अभी नॉर्थ और साउथ की बात आज से चली है हमारे यहाँ, ये थोड़ा हम लोगों का ओवर सिंप्लीफिकेशन है. चीज़ें इतनी आसान नहीं है. बीजेपी का आप आंध्र, तेलंगाना और कर्नाटक में वोट शेयर अगर देखेंगे तो ठीक ठाक सा है. कर्नाटक में उन्होंने बुरा नहीं किया है और लोकसभा में चीज़ें बदल सकती हैं. तमिलनाडु उनके लिए सबसे मुश्किल स्टेट रहा है. केरल में बहुत मेहनत के बावजूद बहुत मुश्किल स्टेट रहा है. ये कहीं नहीं समझना चाहिए इस विक्ट्री से हमको कि मॉडरेट से लेके जिसको आप लिबरल थॉट कहते हैं वो नहीं है. बीजेपी का हिंदी हार्टलैंड वाला लिंगो और वो अप्रोच साउथ में नहीं चल रहा है. ये बीजेपी को रियलाइजेशन है. लेकिन लोकसभा चुनाव में जब कंपटीशन इस प्रकार का हो जाए, जब आपको दिखता है कि बीजेपी खुद नहीं बढ़ेगी, दूसरी कोई सरकार नहीं बन रही होगी, तो डीएमके हो या एआईडीएमके, कोई भी वापस इनके साथ आएगा ना. वो दिल्ली में जिसकी सरकार है उसके साथ रहते हैं. तो दक्षिण बीजेपी के लिए डिफिकल्ट एरिया जरूर रहा है. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि दे आर नॉट मेकिंग स्लो प्रोग्रेस. दे आर मेकिंग एक्चुअली वेरी कन्विंसिंग प्रोग्रेस.
In fact, one point which I found interesting, if you look at the Congress campaigns in all of these states, a large part of it, almost all of it, was based on a negative agenda. The target was Modi, the target was allegations of crony capitalism, the target was government policies, whereas this is an aspirational India. Modi just spoke about the youth as much as he spoke about women. Therefore, the opposition and specifically the Congress, would you suggest that the one area where they missed out was one tapping into the aspirations of millions of Indians by just focusing on a negative agenda?
Absolutely right. Opposition and mainly Congress party has not been able to understand what people want. The aspirational language is missing out from their narrative. And always it is a language of resentment and grievance and conspiracy theory of extreme nature that has boomeranged badly. I said in the morning and I'm repeating it now, Congress party unfortunately is doing the politics of social media troll. Their so-called grand design is addressed and designed for social media trolling. There are no communication with people. They are in a jam, kind of very bad situation.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the big takeaways from these state verdicts. Remember, these three states that we are looking at, the state of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh, all three were not won by the BJP in 2018. What is the big picture now? It's clear that the Hindi belt actually is with Modi. And Congress has no narrative to take on brand Narendra Modi in the Hindi heartland. And road to 2024, Modi certainly is in pole position, and the Congress party, or should I say India, has no counter to Modi magic. Voter is very clear in its sentiment. It's about the Modi vote which has emerged in these elections, and it is about that personal guarantee that is coming for Prime Minister Modi. It is about her vote Modi ka hai, and her vote का गारंटी जो है वो मोदी दे रहे हैं. That is the message. And the only solace, one would say, is coming from southern India for the Congress party. KCR's national ambitions have fallen flat. Verdict 2023, it's very clear that BJP is racing ahead and India bloc is now losing steam. So the big question that we are asking now is also, what happens to the Congress?
Yeah. No, exactly. What does happen to the Congress going forward? They're certainly going to have to figure out a certain narrative. Let me go across to Prakash Javadekar, who joins us at this stage. Prakash ji, thanks very much for being with us. End of the day now, as these trends become results, of course, the Election Commission will need to declare that. Be honest with us, Prakash ji. These results at the end of the day, did you expect Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh to be, and Rajasthan to be at this level of a victory for the BJP, or did you actually say smaller numbers?
Because we have seen the pulse of the people, that people want stability, prosperity and positivity. They don't want negative politics and gali-galoj politics. So they have decided they want progress. And therefore, they believe in Modi. They trust Modi because he delivers. He doesn't discriminate. And he has become a symbol of progress and stature of India. Therefore, common man who doesn't read everyday political news, the common man who doesn't hear the political debates, he decides how to vote, why to vote, whom to vote with his robust common sense. And that is really capital of Modi, because they trust him. गरीब लोग समझते हैं कि वो हमारे में से है.
जी, प्रकाश जी.
He understands our pains.
जी.
So that is how things are moving. And let me just share with this. I was in charge of Telangana. The good news for us is the present Chief Minister and probable Chief Minister of Congress, Revant Reddy and K.C. Rao, our candidate Venkat Ramana Reddy, has defeated both of them.
Yes.
Right.
In Kamareddy.
Right. प्रकाश जी, आपको बधाई, और आज बिल्कुल बीजेपी की विक्ट्री को सेलिब्रेट करने का वक्त है, लेकिन एक डेटा पॉइंट की तरफ आपका ध्यान दिलाना चाहता हूं, और कांग्रेस के लिए, दरअसल कांग्रेस के लिए ट्रेजेडी का डे है, क्योंकि कांग्रेस का वोट शेयर सिर्फ 0.4% गिरा है छत्तीसगढ़ में, राजस्थान में 0.6% बढ़ा है, एक जगह मध्य प्रदेश में करीब करीब सेम है, 40% के आसपास। कांग्रेस का वोट परसेंट इंटैक्ट है। हमारी चुनाव प्रणाली ऐसी है कि आपको बहुत जबरदस्त विक्ट्री मिली है बीजेपी को, लेकिन जो हम कह रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस अपना सेल्फ गोल करना जानती है, उसको नैरेटिव नहीं समझ में आता, बावजूद उसके कांग्रेस का वोट शेयर इंटैक्ट है, इसको भी हमको इनकार नहीं करना चाहिए।
मैं बताता हूं, कर्नाटक के अगर आप याद करोगे पिछले साल के चुनाव की, तो कर्नाटक में भी हमारे वोट वैसे ही रहे, जेडीएस के कम हुए और वो कांग्रेस को बढ़े, इसलिए रिजल्ट आया। अच्छा, केरल में हमेशा देखते हैं 1-1.5% के वोट के फिगर से डीएमके एडीएमके में भी कितना बहुत फर्क होता था, नहीं होता था। तो ये अनेक राज्यों में ऐसी स्थिति है, बट दैट लास्ट 1% becomes very important and decisive because it is not about spread but even concentration in certain areas where you draw more votes. आपको ज्यादा वोट मिलता है तभी आप जीत के आते हो, और जो पद्धति है वो सबके लिए समान है, कोई बीजेपी के लिए अलग तरीका नहीं है। तो ये अपने डेमोक्रेसी का मैं बुराई नहीं मानता, ये अच्छा ही है कि जिसको सबसे ज्यादा वोट मिले वो चुन के आएगा।
Right. Prakash ji, I just wanted to ask you about a couple of points that the Prime Minister spoke about.
Please.
He spoke about Nari Shakti first and foremost. He spoke about 4 groups, but he spoke about women and women's development. And he guaranteed personally the guarantees which the BJP has made. Going forward, is this going to be a core group? And it is huge in our country that the BJP will be focusing on.
Yes, because as I was, मैं जो बता रहा था कि मोदी किसी में भेदभाव नहीं करता। मैंने केरल में देखा है, मैंने तेलंगाना में देखा है, मैंने अनेक राज्यों में देखा है कि जहां राज करने वाले अपने कार्यकर्ता या अपने वोटर को बेनिफिट देते हैं, दूसरे को नहीं देते हैं। मोदी ऐसा नहीं करते हैं। मोदी हर एक को बेनिफिट देते हैं जो बेनिफिट के लिए एलिजिबल है। तो ये एक ही डजंट डिस्क्रिमिनेट, सबका साथ सबका विकास, ये लोगों को पता है। इसलिए मेरे पास हजारों वीडियो केरल में हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने तैयार किए, लिए लोगों के टेस्टिमोनियल्स कि मुस्लिम हो, क्रिश्चियन हो, बाकी सब हो, लोग भर भर के मोदी की प्रशंसा करते हैं कि ये पहली दफा हम अनुभव कर रहे हैं कि जो योजना घोषित हुई उसका फायदा हमें पूरा मिल रहा है।
You know, there was one wonderful quote, Prakash ji, which he said, which I translated. He said, as far as the BJP is concerned, when the strength of women becomes someone's Suraksha Kavach, nothing can harm them. The Suraksha Kavach provided by the woman voter in these elections sort of defined so much for the BJP.
Yeah, but it is not about just a vote. We don't consider women as and we don't see to any bloc as a voting bloc. We see them as partners in progress.
Right.
And because women's power we are seeing, now this new program called Namo Drone Didi is a very innovative program. 12,000 women self-help groups have given training. There are trained women agriculturists who can run and monitor and manage the drone and ensure the fertilizer and pesticide spray in the fields. So this is
एक सवाल आपसे, आपके स्टेट पर, आप महाराष्ट्र से आते हैं, मध्य प्रदेश की इस जीत का महाराष्ट्र पे क्या असर होगा?
हमारे यहाँ तो अभी ग्राम पंचायत के चुनाव हुए हैं, वो लगभग जनरल चुनाव जैसा ही होता है, और वहां बहुत भारी बहुमत से हमारा गठबंधन जीता है
जी।
और इसलिए अब वो शरद पवार, उद्धव ठाकरे और ये गठबंधन का कोई और कांग्रेस कोई अता पता नहीं है। तो हम चुनाव जीत रहे हैं हमारी ताकत पर, हमारे कार्यक्रम पर, और मध्य प्रदेश और पड़ोसी राज्यों का परिणाम होता ही है। लेकिन मैं आपको बताता हूं, एवरी स्टेट इज अ डिफरेंट यूनिट। पीपल देयर थिंक डिफरेंटली एंड पीपल वोट डिफरेंटली फॉर डिफरेंट इलेक्शंस। इसलिए मैं कहता हूं कि तेलंगाना में हमें आज भले 8 एमएलए सीट मिली है, विधायक की सीट 8 ही मिली है, लेकिन अभी आने वाले पार्लियामेंट चुनाव में हमें 10 पार्लियामेंट के सीट हम जीतेंगे, ये मुझे पूरा विश्वास है। क्योंकि मैंने देखा है, 3 महीने रहकर जो देखा है, वो जनता कहती है मोदी को वोट असेंबली पार्लियामेंट में। तो ये जो है, ये बहुत बड़ी ताकत है।
जैसे आपने प्रकाश जी तेलंगाना के बारे में बिल्कुल नंबर दे दिया, तेलंगाना के लिए 10 सीट बीजेपी के लिए, महाराष्ट्र का नंबर दे दीजिए, या मैं आपको प्रोवोक कर दूं कि 24 के ऊपर नहीं है आपके गठबंधन का?
नहीं 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 नहीं, ये जो है वो गलत है। मैंने बताया ना, अभी जो जिस तरह से, मैं आपको आज बताता हूं कि हमारा बेस टोटल 42 था, उससे एक हाथ अधिक होगा, कम नहीं होगा
जी।
You know, Prakash ji, one interesting point that the Prime Minister spoke about, he spoke about it at length, was the role of the Adivasi community. He said that the Adivasi community has not progressed for decades because of the policies of the Congress. In Jharkhand, on the 15th of November, there's a 24,000 crore rupee scheme that the BJP announced, and the sense was that this might have an impact in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and Chhattisgarh as well. But if you actually look at voting took place prior in one phase in Chhattisgarh to this scheme having been announced. So the point is, the BJP actually pegged away at this particular group, the Adivasi community, well before this one announcement. So it's not enough for one person to say, Modi announced this particular scheme and that is why they won. In fact, you've got this group because of a year of work.
That is not the reality. People have faith in Modi's leadership. They want progress and positivity. They don't want negativity, and therefore they are voting us. They are not voting for schemes. People prefer, और उन्होंने आज जैसे कहा कि दल से देश बड़ा है, यही हमारी धारणा है, काम का आधार है। और इसीलिए people also think very wisely. Nani Palkhiwala used to say, illiterate intelligence in our country is many times more effective than educated incapacity.
All right. Prakash ji, thank you so much and congratulations for this victory. Let me bring in the studio guests. Rajat Sethi is joining us. Shankar Iyer, political economist and an analyst as well. Sandeep Shastri is here in the studio. Geeta Bhatt, Aishwarya Mahadev of the Congress also joining us, and Smita Gupta. Smita Gupta, we have been talking about the women factor, and I'm glad and Manisha Priyam as well. So we have a good presence of women in the panel as well. Manisha Priyam and 2 more on this side. So let me begin with you, ma'am. We have been talking about it, and just look at the numbers. I think this stunner of Chhattisgarh cannot be overlooked.
No, it cannot be overlooked. And in the morning, when I was with Sanjay ji on the Hindi panel, I said very clearly, somebody may have enticed me to speak about women first, but I said that women were not derailed by calls for a caste census. And I was absolutely delighted and honored to hear that the Honorable Prime Minister started by saying that कुछ लोगों ने जात के नाम पर गुमराह करने का काम किया. And I would say that his speech today, many of you are talking about the Hindi Patti and the Hindi belt. I would say that these states refer to the erstwhile Bimaru minus the B. But that message of caste and Gumrah went to the entire community of what were the erstwhile Bimaru states, and to show them that this can be achieved on the ground rather than dream spinning. That's been the reason for the victory. And as I've dialed down to my colleagues in Chhattisgarh today, even those within the Congress camp have given me the CCAs, corruption, casteism and arrogance as the 3 reasons why there is a possible decline of the third C, which is the Congress party. So I think the Prime Minister and his Dal have also had their ears to the ground following the Karnataka victory. There were feelers to all of us. There were people who came to us asking us what we thought were the reasons of defeat. And today I see that a humbled BJP that accommodated much of the voices and much of the lessons that were coming from defeat have turned this into a massive and stunning victory.
This is the politics of accommodation.
The Congress on the other side, not left with a chair in the hot sun of the Hindi heartland, as they will fight the 2024 elections that will go down to the very hot May months of India and northern India, which are difficult days, Maria.
बिल्कुल एक सवाल मैं लेना चाहता हूं क्योंकि पीएम जो भी कहते हैं मारिया, इट इज ऑलवेज प्रेग्नेंट विथ लॉट्स ऑफ पॉसिबिलिटीज, बहुत सारे फॉलो अप और एक्शन प्लान। उन्होंने जिक्र किया कि इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए भी अच्छा मैसेज चला गया है, वो भी समझेंगे कि इंडिया में अब क्या होने वाला है, डेवलपमेंट का एजेंडा है। तो जो इम्पोर्टेंट बात है और उसके लिए हम लोगों को शंकर अय्यर से बात करनी चाहिए। शंकर, मुझे लगता है कि आने वाले दिनों में जो एक थ्रेशहोल्ड होता है उसके ऊपर कहानी चली गई है इन टर्म्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, especially in the very strategically important areas which have implications, global implications in terms of geopolitics, in terms of what happens in USA. So Mr. Modi has a serious plan which will now see a serious exciting activity around investments.
Well, Sanjay, that's what struck me in his speech was that this is what, I mean, the case study approach of Harvard. He touched all the market share points of politics, youth, women, the bottom of the pyramid and everything. And he brought in the aspiration through this investment question. So over the last 6 months, or at least over the last 3 months, there have been questions in the market by many investment bankers and others who are wondering whether what happens to the Sensex or the Nifty and what happens to investment if 2024 is not a done deal, or if the numbers come down in 2024. And so in my conversations, I have always asked the other side. In fact, I had a call yesterday and I asked, okay, so if Mr. Modi is not winning, who do you see winning? So, I mean, every loser has to find a winner. जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं कि हर रामायण में एक रावण होना चाहिए, तो this is the thing that you have to look at. If you look at how India BJP has won in every election in the past 2 general elections, there are about 185 seats where BJP and Congress are face to face. That score has improved over the last 2 elections, and this electoral victory is actually guaranteeing that score persists. I think there's been a lot of commentary about Hindi belt, non-Hindi belt. I mean, it is true that the BJP has found it difficult to pierce through the southern India. But one must recognize that what is market share all about? It is where your voters are and it is where your seats are. And the BJP sustains that dominance in the states where they have maximum seats, and in the states where there are, I mean, these are the youngest states.
Sure.
I mean, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, these are states which have a median age which is less than that of average of India.
Yes.
And this is where the demographic dividend is sort of playing out.
Absolutely.
So
and
he has
spoken,
focused
Shankar, so much
everything on the
about
positivity.
the youth, and that's linked up to the demographic dividend. I just wanted to get a quick reaction from Aishwarya Mahadev as well. Aishwarya, is the Congress willing to concede at this stage that it was a lack of fulfilling or the aspirations of any number of people across the country that would have actually affected the outcome of the election results in these 3 states? I say this why? Because in 2019, it has been said that you pursued a negative agenda, the entire Chaukidar Chor Hai campaign, the entire Rafale thing, pegging away at Modi, pegging away at the BJP without providing an aspiration and a different vision. Do you believe you've done the same this time?
Good evening, Vishnu. I've been listening closely to the broadcast and I want to differ on a few points.
Sure.
Before that, I want to say that congratulations. I believe that you need to be magnanimous in victory and also in loss. And the few differences I want to point out is to say we ran a completely negative campaign is extremely false, because whether you like it or not, the idea of running it is not completely negative when you hold a mirror up to bad administration in states. And second, when we talk about the guarantees or the promises of administration, I believe that was also aspirational, whether it was to farmers, whether it was for the young and the unemployed, whether it was for women. So to say that we ran an entirely negative campaign is completely false, while we also reserve the right as a political party to hold out certain truths of whether it was administration, whether it is scams, and whether it is corruption. Today, I am again nowhere close to a psephologist, nowhere close to, as let's say, experienced as a lot of people on the panel, but I very humbly submit that while we have lost 3 elections, which is a large cause for reflection for next year, there is still hope to see that we've been able to run a very spirited campaign in Telangana. And none of this should ever take away from the fact that even in the states we couldn't make it, every single Congress worker put in his best. He and her, all of them have worked
Aishwarya,
together.
that's even more worrying. If this is what the Congress thinks that it was their best performance, then what really is best? You're taking on an election winning machine which is well oiled, such as the BJP. They can convert, literally steal the victory out of the jaws of defeat. And here you are saying that this was their best performance. I mean, a best performance with a Congress at 65 in Madhya Pradesh after 18 years of anti-incumbency, a best performance of Rajasthan at 70. Is that really a best performance?
Maria, while wins and losses are binaries and vote shares are discussed after, I will still say that every worker put in what they could. And that is what the moment was for, to appreciate the fact that the Congress worker still has worked on the ground. Yes, sure. In the larger scheme of things, there's a lot of reflection. Yes, there are a lot of analogies being drawn about 20 years previously, what happened and what can happen next year, all of which is a discussion for tomorrow. Today, I believe that we humbly submit to
Rajat has a point. Please go ahead,
so
Rajat.
I just picked up a couple of things that you said. See, what I'm really baffled about is how does Congress equate aspirations of people to guarantees that they offer or the freebies that they offer? This is clearly distinct from how the BJP thinks. BJP talks about 2047, they talk about Amrit Kal, they believe that we are not there, and this is the broad vision that we want to establish. Here you are only wanting to buy out elections and buy out people's vote by just flagging out that, hey, I'm going to give you 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees directly into your account. That's pretty much all that Congress has to offer. Look at Telangana. They went in and they said that we'll give you a gold coin.
Okay,
I'll just say, let me complete. Sure. This is point number 1. Point number 2 is the negativity aspect which was talked about. Please, I would want Aishwarya to please elaborate on that. Why does Congress leaders sound so arrogant when they are reaching out to the public? Look at Kamal Nath. He showed his arrogance to not just the public, but also their own India Alliance partners. Pick up Ashok Gehlot. Which other chief minister of BJP ever says that I have a claim to the CM's throne? It was Ashok Gehlot who kept insisting that I'm going to be the one who is going to be the CM.
Go ahead.
And the list goes on and on. Look at Bhupesh Bagel's arrogance.
Okay, half a sec. Just reply, Aishwarya, before we move on. Yeah, go ahead. I think you muted yourself by mistake, Aishwarya. Can you just check?
Vishnu, the funny phenomena happens to be that when the opposition or the Congress talks about aspirational guarantees for the people they're termed as Revi, but when today Shivraj Singh Chauhan talks about Ladli Behna scheme, like the biggest thing that has brought him to power, that is not something that is considered Revi by that logic. I'm not going to sit and look at the ambivalence of definition. All I'm saying is, it is the aspiration of the people to have a job. It is the aspirations of farmers to not have debt. It is the aspirations of various sections which are outside the upper echelons of society and the air-conditioned studios. What the people have done in Telangana have voted overwhelmingly for the positive agenda of the Congress.
Okay,
and
Aishwarya,
I'm not here to talk about the arrogance of anybody, because the man in Madhya Pradesh was being carried through water who now claims to be the new chief ministerial face. So the thing is this, when the shoe is on the other foot, there's a lot that people can say. But I'm saying, Vishnu, today, there is a lot to be learned. We humbly submit to the mandate of the people and we look forward to a positive, better day tomorrow. And I'm not going to sit here and debate on the tiny points of somebody's hubris or somebody having their chest puffed out here saying, I won over you.
Agreed. Point taken, Aishwarya. We anchors have sometimes a bad habit of asking long questions. I have a very simple, short question. Why do you think Congress lost in these 3 states, MP, Chhattisgarh and Rajasthan?
So I cannot pinpoint the blame on anything, and the voter has voted. The mandate is decisive. I think on our side, the effort was decisive. We put in a lot of effort in Madhya Pradesh, whether it was the yatras, In Rajasthan, whether it was the assurances from insurance to ensuring that women had far more empowering schemes than before. And in Chhattisgarh also you saw that as a government there was a lot that was put in. At the end of it, I'm not going to dissect the tiny reasons, whether it is regional parties like GGP, whether it is the tribal vote cutters here and there. At the end of the day, it is the mandate of the people. But all I can say is from our side, we humbly submit, but we did put in an effort. I believe we put in a strong effort. And a lot of people had written us off even stronger before. Then we came back. In certain states, we were able to achieve a victory. In some, we were not. But we live to fight another day, sir. And I believe tomorrow is another day in preparation for what is going to be a huge sort of election very soon, sir.
All right. Yeah. So magnanimous over there and accepting that the defeat has happened. The Congress will obviously look at it. I just wanted to get in a couple of quick reactions going forward. Smita, if you can just sort of come in at this stage. Let's look at it from a state-by-state perspective. What do you believe was the key issue? Why the BJP did well, the Congress did poorly in Rajasthan?
In Rajasthan, I think the fact that Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot were not on the same page, and this was a battle that was being fought out for a very, very long time. And Mr. Gehlot had made it very clear that he wasn't going to give Sachin Pilot an inch. So even though at the end there were some photo ops with the two men together, I think that was a big negative against the Congress party. Of course, there is also the history that Rajasthan never votes the same party twice in a row. But I think one major factor was that they just didn't trust these people to hold together.
Geeta ji, before we move to the other states, Rajasthan, a quick take?
One more thing just to add to what ma'am has just said. You see, along with this, the internal battles within the Congress between Sachin Pilot and Mr. Gehlot, also along with it, if you see that the corruption was a very, very major issue with the people of Rajasthan. If you talk to locals over there, the government servants over there, the chief minister's, the food grain which was being given, the masalas which were being given, they were of so poor quality
Geeta ji,
that
just
people
half
were
a
just saying
second.
that.
Sorry to interrupt you. We've got Rajavardhan Singh Rathore joining us now. Thanks very much. Rajavardhan ji for being with us. Congratulations. It's been a fantastic day for the BJP across North India. Telangana also from just one, you've gone up substantially. But let's talk a little bit about Rajasthan. Tell us, in your mind, was there any one factor which actually resulted in the BJP doing as well as it did?
Well, you have to understand that, the sort of confidence that the Prime Minister built amongst the people of Rajasthan, with his commitment, with his policies, and his ability to deliver those policies to them, and then compare that with the schemes that were announced in Rajasthan, but they would never actually fructify, and most of these schemes were announced 2 months short of the elections. So you can imagine the comparison that the voter would make in terms of a person who is committing his effort, his schemes, money of the country to them right from the beginning and ensuring last mile delivery vis-a-vis a government, a local government that was unable to do so. The law and order was very poor. There were 19 paper leaks in Rajasthan. And so obviously the youth, the farmers, the women, 35,000 rapes in 5 years. Can you even believe that? Can you imagine that? Yeah. And this is NCR, this is National Crime Bureau record data. Right. So compare this with the Prime Minister Modi's work, and then that's where it builds confidence in the people that we need Prime Minister and his style of governance in Rajasthan.
जी, एक बात और साफ हो रही है राठौर साहब, और वो ये है कि सभी जगह एंटी इनकम्बेंसी थी, यानी गहलोत साहब के खिलाफ भी थी तो शिवराज सिंह चौहान के भी खिलाफ थी और बघेल के भी खिलाफ थी. सब जगह ये फैक्टर आया कि करप्शन भी मुद्दा है, एंटी इनकम्बेंसी भी है, सीएम उतना पॉपुलर नहीं है. लेकिन मोदी जी का वोट एक्स्ट्रा मिला है। तो क्या हम ये कह सकते हैं कि ये जो जीत है दरअसल मोदी फैक्टर की है और स्टेट लेवल पर बीजेपी में अभी भी कमियां हैं जिसको मोदी जी कवर अप करते हैं?
आप अपने वर्ड्स आप मुझे देने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। यू ट्राइंग टू पुट योर वर्ड्स इनटू माय माउथ, सो लेट मी रीफ्रेज दैट and please ask your technicians. My voice is echoing back to me, so
We'll
it's very
just get
difficult
that
for me to
fixed.
focus.
We'll get that fixed. Yeah.
Yes. So in terms of options that are there with the voter is very clear that he has one government, one party which is truly committed to empowering that voter, providing services to that voter in a manner to empower him so that he produces, his productivity goes up, his quality of life goes up. That is a big comparison, that given the options, the Bharatiya Janata Party, and obviously with the Prime Minister Modi's image and his ability to deliver his guarantee, like he says, that obviously is something that steals the show.
Yes, Mr. Rathod, Maria here. मेरा सवाल ये है कि मध्य प्रदेश, राजस्थान, छत्तीसगढ़, तेलंगाना, everywhere where it was MPs who were fielded by the BJP. Many saw that as a strategy of a nervous party, but MPs such as you landing on the ground, ensuring victory and returning as an MLA, what does it actually mean for you and for MPs like you? How did you react when MPs were told, ministers were told, go and fight?
देखिए, ये सबसे पहले मैं आपको बताऊं मारिया दैट हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के सबसे पहला यही कदम रहता है कि हमें चुनाव जीतना है, और हर राज्य के लिए अलग अलग स्ट्रैटेजी होनी भी चाहिए और होती भी है। अब मुझे बताइए, जब क्रिकेट टीम किसी बल्लेबाज को 4th डाउन से 1st डाउन कर दे या 1st डाउन से 4th डाउन कर दे, तो वो दूसरी वाली टीम ये सवाल उठा सकती है क्या कि ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं साहब, ये तो ठीक नहीं है, ये तो देखिए ऐसे हो रहा है। अरे अपना गेम खेलो ना, हमें अपना गेम खेलने दो। तो देखिए, ये अटकलें लगाना कि नर्वस हो रहे थे, ये सब फिजूल की बातें हैं। अब ये देखिए कि हमने 10 साल प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के साथ रह के काम करा। ऑब्वियसली एक ऐसे व्यक्ति के साथ जो दुनिया के लीडर्स के, ही इज द टॉलेस्ट अमंग्स देम, उनके साथ काम करने में बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं। अब 10 साल वहां से सीखकर अगर हमें यहां राज्य के अंदर काम करने का अवसर मिल रहा है, सो ऑब्वियसली द मेथड ऑफ फंक्शनिंग हियर बिकम्स एज सिमिलर टू दैट ऑफ द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, एंड there's very good compatibility between the central government and the state government. Also remember that there are as many new people who will go and now work with the Prime Minister, and therefore there'll be more number of people who will get trained right under his mentorship. So I see this as a method of grooming his cadre.
Right.
And so imagine a Prime Minister who not only has time for administration, everything that goes in running a country, but is also able to mentor his cadre. It's amazing. You have to look at it from that point of view.
Colonel Rathod, one final question to you. You've had a very tough campaign. You're a fitness fanatic. We know you go running and walking and things like that. Are you going to take it a little easy tomorrow? Are you going to pull out that gun of yours, shoot a few rounds over there, go for a run? And don't tell me you're going to be working as hard as you did today. You certainly aren't.
Right after this interview, I'm driving to Delhi. Hopefully there'll be very little fog. I need to be there because tomorrow there's Parliament.
Right.
And that's the first day of the Parliament.
Work as usual.
But yes, any little opportunity I get, like I say, there is no excuse in life. There's only one life. So if you need to do it, you bloody well do it.
All right, Colonel Rathod. Thanks very much, sir, for being with us. Congratulations. Resounding performance of your party in Rajasthan. Maria?
Yes. So you heard from, but what he spoke about in that cricket analogy, Sanjay sir, कि बैटिंग ऑर्डर हम डिसाइड करेंगे।
वही है ना, ये गेम ऐसी हो गई है कि शतरंज के इस तरफ भी मोदी बैठा है, उस तरफ भी मोदी बैठा है। ये एक प्रॉब्लम है और ये टर्म्स ये डिसाइड कर रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं है कि अपोजिशन इसको फाइट नहीं कर सकता है, लैक ऑफ इमेजिनेशन सीरियस प्रॉब्लम है और ये हमारे लिए बड़ी फिक्र का सब्जेक्ट होना चाहिए। एक सवाल मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ संदीप जी से, और वो ये है कि अभी से पहले, आज के पहले हम लोग कह रहे थे कि नेशनल लेवल पे कोई चैलेंज नहीं है मोदी लेड बीजेपी को, लेकिन स्टेट पर बीजेपी का कंट्रोल कम होता जा रहा है। आज के रिजल्ट के बाद ये जो एक आशा थी कुछ लोगों को, एक सेक्शन को, कि चलिए डेमोक्रेटिक बैलेंस इस सेंस में है कि नॉन बीजेपी पार्टीज जो है बहुत सारे स्टेट्स में है और एक डेमोक्रेटिक बैलेंस लेके आता है, सही बात है। आज के बाद ये कहना भी गलत हो गया है क्योंकि बीजेपी अब स्टेट्स में भी बहुत अच्छा कर रही है।
I fully agree with the point you're making. After today's results, the BJP and its allies are in power in 16 of the 28 states of India. It was 14 before this, it would now move to 16. I think the logic of state elections is very different, and the questions we have been raising with our experts. I think the advantage the BJP has is that it's in its electoral arsenal, it has multiple arrows. Whereas the Congress challenge seems to be it has a limited set of arrows and it fires it off very early. And then the BJP is ready to respond to it, and this I think is what happened in Madhya Pradesh. When we say the party peaked too early, it put all its aces out, which resulted in the BJP taking corrective action, and we see the result which we had, as Rajvardhan said, even in Rajasthan. The promises which were made were not really possibly seen on the ground. And this made it possible for the Congress to, for the BJP to then take it up. And my final point, sir, if you look at the Prime Minister's speech today, I think the first campaign speech of the 2024 election has been made. He has set the agenda with the 4 points he emphasized. And that I think will be the core agenda which the BJP will take up for the Lok Sabha.
And one point
Not
that I...
only that, I want to add, he has reissued serious warning to opposition and other vested interest groups when he spoke about Parivarwad, Tuštikaran and Bhrashtachar.
Sanjay ji, just wanted to add that you said शतरंज के इस तरफ भी मोदी और उस तरफ भी। मैं थोड़ा सा आपसे मतभेद यहाँ रखती हूँ। शतरंज की बिसात वो नहीं बिछाते हैं, बिसात बिछने देते हैं। लेकिन एक ही बात है कि जब वो खेलते हैं तो शाह और मात होने के बाद वो बतलाते हैं कि दूसरे तरफ का रंग क्या है। और जब वो बतला रहे हैं कि परिवारवाद, जब वो बतला रहे हैं करप्शन, जब वो बतला रहे हैं जातिवाद, उस समय दूसरा साइड आसानी से अगर वो नोट्स लेता रहे तो कई बार उनको वो बता रहे हैं कि ये चीज़ें हैं जिनके चलते कि तुम फंसोगे या हारोगे। लेकिन उस समय दूसरे लोग उसको ऑफ करके कुछ जोक्स, कुछ इसमें कुछ उसमें लगे रहते हैं। इफ़ दे टेक द स्पीचेस सीरियसली, much of the lessons are right there, but it is for the other side to take it. Now, Parivarwad, for example, it engulfs all the regional parties in the Hindi heartland, so to say. Just combining Mandalwad with Parivarwad does not make it a superior ideology. It does not also allow them to transcend the very serious charges of corruption with which many of these regional parties have been engulfed.
Sure.
So I think that's the skill that he has. What is black in color defined by Modi?
All right, I know Sanjay has to leave us in a little while from now, but I thought we'd get a couple of key questions on a couple of editors' take, as it were. So question number one, these elections are done. Let's look at next year. Is the BJP, Sanjay, likely gunning primarily, number one, at a 50% vote share?
Absolutely. After Gujarat verdict, this thought did come into my mind, the way you make bipolar election into an election of 45%, 50% vote. Mr. Modi must be now planning to do something unthinkable, which is to aspire for. मेरे हिसाब से मोदी जी ने अपनी पार्टी को ये टारगेट सेट करके दे दिया है कि भाई आप लोग काम करिए 50% वोट शेयर के लिए, जिसमें बीजेपी का अकेले का 45 होना चाहिए, 50 एनडीए का होना चाहिए। और ये एक प्रोवोकेटिव थॉट है। साथ ही साथ इसका मतलब सीट शेयर पे क्या होगा? सीट शेयर पे ये होगा कि मोदी जी को बीमारी है अपना रिकॉर्ड तोड़ने की। वो कहेंगे कि 303 नहीं, 304 प्लस बीजेपी को अकेले चाहिए। इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि एनडीए के लिए 350 से 400 सीटों की बिसात वो बिछाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। रिकॉर्ड तोड़ने का उनका ऑब्सेशन वैसा ही है जो किसी बच्चे का किसी खिलौने की जिद को लेकर के होता है विष्णु। तो मुझे ये लगता है कि ये एक लाइन का टारगेट है, एक लाइन का मैंडेट है, 50%, 350 सीट्स इन 2024 इलेक्शंस। और इसके पीछे जो बैकवर्ड इंटीग्रेशन और प्लानिंग चाहिए उसके तो डिटेल्स हम रोज देखते ही रहते हैं।
Sanjay, one final question. The development plank. Will 2024 be fought, based on what you heard today, likely on the plank of development?
एब्सोल्युटली, इसीलिए उन्होंने एक नया फ्रेज दिया, कुछ ही दिन पहले दिया, विकसित भारत का। क्योंकि दरअसल दुनिया भर की परिस्थिति कुछ इस तरह की हो गई है, सिचुएशंस ऐसी हो गई हैं कि इंडिया के एडवांटेजेस बहुत सीरियस हो गए हैं। एक तरफ एशियन कंट्रीज़ के बीच में, दूसरी तरफ अमेरिका की जो सिचुएशन है, यूरोप की जो सिचुएशन है, तो ग्लोबल ऑर्डर जो रीसेट हो रहा है उसमें इंडिया का रोल, जितना हम लोग अभी पब्लिक कन्वर्सेशन में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं विष्णु, और आप डिफेंस और स्ट्रेटजिक अफेयर्स कवर करते हैं, ग्लोबल चीज़ों पर नज़र रखते हैं, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि भारत एक बहुत यूनिक पोजीशन में है। तो जिसको कहते हैं ना कि सारे स्टार्स भी कोलाइड और कॉन्स्पायर कर जाते हैं, जिसमें कि पॉलिटिकल प्लेयर अपना फ़ायदा उठा सकता है, लेकिन हिंदुस्तान एक बहुत ही शानदार ट्रैजेक्टरी पर है, डिस्पाइट इनइक्वालिटीज़, डिस्पाइट कंट्राडिक्शंस, despite issues cultural and social both, we are on a trajectory and Mr. Modi will be milking it to the hilt.
Absolutely. Yogendra Yadav also joins us at this stage. Yogenji, thanks very much for being with us. You know, I know you love to analyze all the trends down to the barest.
Can you be louder?
But I think
can't hear you. I can hear others. But
elections, Yogendra ji, can bring about a great deal of uncertainty, particularly if the result comes late, etc., or for its split, a hung mandate, assembly, etc. But between now and the general elections, the fact that we've got clean results and large results, do you believe that economic growth, development, investment opportunities will be stable, that the investment climate in India will not be affected, that there is no uncertainty in that regard?
I'm not entirely sure, Vishnu, how it relates to today's verdict. I think, so let me respond to the verdict, because I don't quite understand this question. What we have witnessed today is clearly a setback. Setback not just for Congress, setback for everyone, people like me, who believe that this country needs transformation in 2024. And that the Congress's victory in Telangana is not enough to offset the setback that we have witnessed in the 3 Hindi heartland states. And this is a moment, therefore, to reflect and to think big and to think afresh. To my mind, 2024 is not a done deal yet. Things can be transformed, provided the opposition learns, provided the Congress learns that it needs other parties in the opposition and cannot take them lightly. And other parties believe that it's not just the Congress which has faced a setback, that the entire opposition has faced a setback. Provided the Congress leadership understands that they need to be a little harsh in words and a little liberal outwards. They may have practiced the opposite. They have ended up being very soft on, let's say, MLAs who did not deserve ticket. Mm-hmm. And they have been somewhat wary of striking alliances which were so badly needed, especially in Rajasthan. The third lesson, to my mind, is that Congress party specifically, but the opposition in general, needs to align its politics with its own social base. The social base of the Congress is and has been the bottom of the pyramid, the poor, Dalit, Adivasi, OBCs. But Congress's politics is not quite aligned to that. And the messages given by the central leadership do not actually reach the bottom. This requires a fresh think. This requires bold imagination. This is the time to move forward, to bring in not just new blood, but also bring in new ideas. Right. Without that, the opposition wouldn't move.
संजय जी, योगेंद्र जी, संजय हूं मैं और आपसे बहुत दिनों के बाद बात करने का मौका लगा है। अपोजिशन को क्या करना चाहिए, इस पर आपने बहुत ही वेल थॉट आउट प्लान कई बार डिस्कशन किया है, कई बार बताया है, और अभी आपने बहुत डिस्पैशनेट कंसर्न सिटीजन वाला एनालिसिस दिया है। मैं आपसे, चूंकि आप चुनाव शास्त्री भी रहे हैं, तो एक ही सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं, और ये कि करीबन 70-80 सीटें हैं जो 50,000 के मार्जिन से हारी जीती गई हैं इस चुनाव में, और 35 सीटें ऐसी हैं जो वोट कटर पार्टियों की मौजूदगी के कारण कांग्रेस लूज कर गई है। तो ये जो चुनाव व्यवस्था है उसमें एक एक वोट और एक एक बूथ पर जो लड़ाई होनी चाहिए वो सबसे बड़ी कमी है विपक्ष की, और इसीलिए ग्राउंड पर जनमत खिलाफ होने के बावजूद, बीजेपी के खिलाफ होने के बावजूद अपोजिशन जीती हुई बाजी लगातार हारता रहा है। यह भी उसी का एक नया एग्जिबिट है। आप क्या कहेंगे?
जी, आप बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं। मैं समझता हूं कि अपोजिशन से ज्यादा मैं समझता हूं ये कांग्रेस की समस्या है। कांग्रेस को बाकी पार्टियों के साथ डील करने का तरीका सीखना होगा। अब ये बात सच है कि समाजवादी पार्टी से मध्य प्रदेश में कोई बहुत बड़ा फायदा होने वाला नहीं था, लेकिन अखिलेश वखिलेश जैसी बात कहना तो कोई समझदारी का लक्षण नहीं है। ये तो आपको एक लार्जर नेशनल लेवल पे नुकसान पहुंचाएगा। राजस्थान में अलायंसेस का मामला था, गंभीर था। सीपीएम और बीजेपी, भारतीय आदिवासी पार्टी, ये तो क्लियरली ऐसी फोर्सेस थी जो कि जिन्होंने कांग्रेस को कम से कम 15 सीट पे नुकसान पहुंचाया है, जो कांग्रेस की सहयोगी रही, जो कांग्रेस से अलायंस करने को तैयार थी, लेकिन उसके बावजूद अलायंस नहीं हुआ। मैं समझता हूं कि केवल अगर कांग्रेस ये दो चीज राजस्थान में कर लेती, इन दोनों पार्टियों से अलायंस, जो बिल्कुल संभव था, और जो एमएलए थे जिनके खिलाफ एंटी इनकम्बेंसी थी, सरकार के खिलाफ नहीं थी, एमएलए के खिलाफ थी, उनकी टिकट काटना, अगर इसमें कांग्रेस बीजेपी से ही कुछ सीख लेती, क्योंकि बीजेपी में मेरे जितने भी वैचारिक मतभेद हैं और वो रहेंगे और मैं खुल के बोलता हूं उसके बारे में, लेकिन एक रणनीति के तौर पे अगर हम इस बात को समझें और सीखें, कुछ देर पहले क्रिकेट की बात हो रही थी, बीजेपी चुनाव में एक टीम की तरह काम करना चाहती है। बीजेपी के पास एक स्पष्ट रणनीति होती है, जैसे कि मध्य प्रदेश में उनके पास थी। एक रणनीति लेके उतरना, एक नैरेटिव, एक सपना लोगों के सामने लेके उतरना, जब तक ये चीज आप नहीं कर सकेंगे तब तक बीजेपी का मुकाबला करना आज की स्थिति में ऑपोजिशन के लिए बेहद कठिन होता जा रहा है। अगर उससे अलायंस सीख सकता है, 6 दिसंबर को जो कि इंडिया अलायंस की मीटिंग हो रही है, अगर उसमें इंडिया अलायंस केवल सीटों के गठबंधन की बात से आगे बढ़ के ये सोचे कि जमीन पे क्या करना है, क्या नैरेटिव, क्या एजेंडा देश के सामने रखना है, तब एक 2024 का मुकाबला अभी भी असंभव नहीं है।
Right, Yogin ji, I'm just interrupting you now because we do need to take a short break and come back with the very latest developments. It's been a fascinating day. We're going to run through all the big developments. That's up after this short break. Well, good evening and welcome to what's been an incredible day. Several hours into the counting for votes in 4 states, the results are clear. The BJP has stomped home to a victory with wins in 3 states, Rajasthan, MP and Chhattisgarh. The Congress finds a consolation in 1 win.
Yes, and the Prime Minister has sent the message for 2024. He has talked about 4 specific vote banks that the BJP will be targeting, clearly attempting to dismantle the caste census pitch that has been made by the Congress in these elections, and also sending a message that going ahead it is about his personal guarantee, Modi guarantee, as he talked about, and the process of government formation, Vishnu, has begun in the BJP. They have reasons to celebrate. 3 states won convincingly, and all these 3 states that they had not won in 2018.
The Prime Minister spoke about the woman vote, the vote among young voters, first-time voters included in that, Adivasis and farmers. And he made it clear that Nari Shakti was at the heart of what he promised. He promised women that the guarantees of promises would be fulfilled and that he personally assured them of that. He also said Adivasis had been liberated from the Congress, which kept them in a perpetual state of backwardness. The bottom line over here, development, I think that's a very positive agenda, because I would suggest that almost half, Maria, of the Prime Minister's speech was looking forward. It wasn't just about the win. And if that is the agenda for India development, then perhaps that's the most progressive agenda of all.
Yes, and interestingly, the dais from where the Prime Minister was speaking, the backdrop has sent a message of going ahead. Sanjay, come in on this. The message was सपने नहीं हकीकत बुनते हैं तभी तो सब मोदी को चुनते हैं. So the message is clear. 2024, it will be not about dreams. He is not a dream merchant. Yeah, he's someone who believes in ensuring that those dreams get converted into reality.
See, that was very interesting, and the first thing which caught my attention when his car was driving in,
Yes.
and then Rajnath Singh and Amit Shah sitting on the podium, and in between that vacant seat and that banner, that stood out, and I think that is going to be cash line for 2024. What you said, merchant of dream, Congress once upon a time had called him something else. Sonia Gandhi anticipated very heavily in Gujarat election. Now, when he was also talking about freebies announced, and there again he put a counter as to the credibility, the delivery, the fairness, the transparency, and it is on basis of that people judge. Now, this is a very simple language, and it was also very important that he mentioned, the party mentioned Telangana also. It was not just
and he begins with Telangana.
Yeah, Telangana tak गूंज ये जानी चाहिए.
गूंज ये जानी
चाहिए. Otherwise, what one would have imagined, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, they write all Telangana, and नीचे मोदी की guarantee. So that is, I think, going to be catch-free. It is very simple, very communicative, and very easy for people to understand. Basically, he makes an argument in such a language which is very clear to the people at large. सपने तो बहुत लोग बुनते हैं, दिन में भी सपने देखते हैं, मुंगेरी लाल के हसीन सपने होते हैं, कुछ भी दे दो, कुछ भी कह दो, आसमान दे दो, but we are the one who actually translate that into the reality.
And they have also sent a message of Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh are the catchment areas, Veera. The message is clear and it begins with ये गूंज ये तेलंगाना तक जानी चाहिए, understanding fully well that yes, it's a gain from 1 to 8. It's a distance covered, but a long, long way to go.
That's right. That's right. But you know, in the sense that it's a really long way to go. There is a south-north divide, but the fact that there was an inroad that's been made, and I think one needs to wait and see how it plays out. I mean, you formed an alliance in Karnataka, and I think one needs to look at this, Maria. Is there a possibility of a BJP BRS
going into Raj Bhavan in Telangana?
That's in Hyderabad. Along with that, and this is fascinating. If you're going to stake claim, then it means that you've decided who the chief minister is. You can't go there. So it's most likely Revant Reddy.
It is Revant Reddy.
Yes, and DK Shiv Kumar and Revant Reddy, both of them are going to the Raj Bhavan to stake claim
to form the government, which is categorical and clear, right? Why? And I'll tell you why. At 70-75, it was a different game. At 65, I think the Congress wants to get this done fast and seal the deal there in Telangana and make sure that the flock is together. You don't want to give any time between now and later, in terms of having any kind of problems there, because 65 is what, 5 above the halfway mark, and you don't want to risk any kind of chances here.
And why has DK Shiv Kumar been called there?
Because he's the observer, plus also the fact that you needed that kind of a person to hold the MLAs together, which was essentially required. Remember Telangana, Maria, don't forget that out of 18, 12 shifted last time, right? Now, it's a victory, and I think they will have to hold it together. It's not a government where the Congress can feel easy.
Yes.
They need to constantly watch their back at 65, especially post-2024.
And if the movement is with Revant Reddy, Veera?
Sorry?
So, it's the potential chief minister who has gone to claim.
It has to be, right? You can't, nobody else can go and stake a claim. You can't go and stake claim as a CLP. If Revant Reddy has gone, obviously DK Shiv Kumar is not staking claim.
No, I'm talking about Revant Reddy. Does it mean he has gone as the state president, but yes, also his position?
No, you can't go as state president to stake claim. You have to go as chief.
No, but he is not being chosen as the head of the CLP.
So I think they will have to go and stake their claim in terms of
that technicality again is very interesting, because till such time you have a CLP leader. As a party, you cannot precisely stake a claim. The incumbent has to decide. This has not happened in, say other states, Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh.
So this is basically in a hurry, Maria. I think if Revant Reddy is going
politics, so that's why DK Shiv Kumar has been sent. The reason.
So you make it clear, get it done with, move forward, get the rest of it sorted.
I just wanted to bring in Amitabh for a second. In your mind, what did the BRS do wrong?
The BRS, I think, at the top level, inaccessibility to people. So KCR was inaccessible. His son used to make it up with his appearances. However, the culture flows from the top. The MLAs became inaccessible, and there was high anti-incumbency against local MLAs, and KCR took a challenge renominated most of them. When people are changing 15, 20, 30% of the MLAs parties, you have not changed any of your MLAs. So that I think hurt the people very hard, and a lot of corruption allegations. Because see, it's an industrial state, but urbanization is also a double-edged sword. There is a have and have not battle also. Even in Hyderabad, the slums, 25% people live in slums.
Yes.
So while people have made some money, there is progress, but there is also a bigger section which has been deprived of this.
So I think that's lopsided development.
There is
Lopsided
an urban
development.
There is an urban areas. BRS has swept. I mean, has won and retained its whole thing. The Congress has not done well in urban areas. You know, campaign committee chairman Madhu Yashki Gaud has lost in LB Nagar, which is against Sudhir Reddy, who's the Huda chairman. So, in the urban areas, the BRS has held its own. The Congress hasn't really done really well. It's the rural areas that it's worked, A. And B, I think largely if we have to look very closely at this vote shares and the results, how it plays out, the BJP's gain in North Telangana seems to have hurt the BRS more than it has hurt the Congress at some level. So I guess it's a large narrative, and important, as someone pointed out, post the liquor scam, corruption coupled with family rule is a very, very difficult
I think corruption has been a factor across,
corruption has been a factor across
in Chhattisgarh as well.
but
it is a narrative the BJP has stitched together quite well in the context of different states.
You see, the BJP actually aided the Congress in the attack on the KCR family, right? You know, BJP kept saying family rule. So family rule on one side along with corruption is anti.
Interrupting you, just everybody half a second. Uma Sudhi joins us now outside Raj Bhavan. The Congress has gone to stake claim. Uma, what's happening behind you?
Just a few minutes ago, even as we were waiting on live, but at that time the convoy of vehicles in fact went in, and it's not just the 4 people that we have mentioned, but there were about at least a dozen vehicles that went in, which included all the observers who have been appointed for overseeing the process of government formation. As you know, that list of observers was in fact released yesterday itself. That of course included DK Shiv Kumar and Deepa Das Munshi and the others who were mentioned in that, Manikrao Thakre and the 2-3 others. But yes, Revant Reddy was also there and Uttam Kumar Reddy. And let me clarify this, since you were discussing this earlier, that they have said that they have not selected their leader, but they are going to go in and stake claim to form the government as the single largest party, and that they will be holding their CLP tomorrow, when that decision will be taken on who will lead the CLP, and most likely that's going to authorize the central leadership to take a decision on it. This is what top source, who is one of those who has gone inside, has told me. So while all this is happening, not all the MLAs have still reached the Ella Hotel where they were all meeting together this evening. Some of them are still on their way. So the CLP has been scheduled for tomorrow. In a short while from now, we are expecting that DK Shiv Kumar and Revant Reddy and Uttam Kumar Reddy and others will come out, and they will be briefing us on what exactly they have told the governor, other than saying that yes, we are staking the claim as the single largest party with a majority.
So, Uma, just a quick question in terms of it. Do we have clarity on when they're going to hold the CLP meeting, as you're pointing out, this tomorrow morning? And also, if Uttam Kumar Reddy, Revant Reddy, all of them are going in, are they just going there to fix a date for this one? Because taking claim, how does that process play out?
This is exactly what the source that, one of those who's gone inside, he has told me, saying that they are going in to stake a claim to form the government. I asked him, so have you decided on a leader? He said, no, we have not yet decided on a leader. We will be holding our CLP tomorrow because not everyone has arrived yet as of now, and therefore we are waiting for everyone to arrive, and we will be holding the CLP tomorrow. I also asked him, is there a time that's been fixed for the CLP tomorrow? He said, no, that clarity has not yet come about when we will be meeting for the CLP.
Sure.
Okay, so the sense that is coming in now from Telangana, that the Congress has gone to stake claim. They have gone to meet Governor Tamilsai, and this is essentially a quick movement by the Congress party. Remember, just few hours back, much before the election results were announced, they had announced observers for all the states. It is this state, Telangana, where they need the observers. Rest 3, they don't, because they have lost the states really badly, perhaps. But Uma, coming to you with one question that is on everybody's mind. The CLP leader hasn't been chosen, but they have gone to stake claim. Are we to believe that MLAs, without even getting their, the certificates, they had given their approval to DK Shiv Kumar, who was in charge of Telangana?
See, it's like this. The MLAs are all, most of the MLAs have already arrived, and they were in fact initially told Taj Krishna, and then they went on to the Ella Hotel where they were all meeting. But they have decided to act fast. I would also think for two reasons. One, that while they are saying that they are not fearing any kind of a poaching on the part of the BRS or KCR, what was very clear was that the president of the party had conveyed that if the number of MLAs is less than 65, then they all be shipped out to Bengaluru, and if the number was between 65 and 70, they were to be kept in a 5-star resort, to be kept in a resort in Hyderabad itself. Now, even though the number is less than 65, even then they are saying that they are confident that they are not going to be poached. In fact, they have been in touch with BRS MLAs, including 2 ministers who have, in fact, been elected in this particular election, and they are likely to be joining, in fact, the Congress
CLP
ranks. So
meeting,
that will, in a sense,
Uma,
half a second. Uma, just 1 sec. If you could, a key meeting taking place in a hotel, that's where all the Congress leaders are. And that's going to be taking place tomorrow, and it's going to be a CLP meeting. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., right?
Yes, 9 a.m.
So
that's where Pratibha is.
Let's go across to Pratibha.
Yes, this is all technicality. I think what is becoming clear is that Congress is trying to send a message that there is that nimble foot movement on the part of the Congress. They do not want to leave anything to chance. That is to put the entire picture together. Yes, go ahead. Pratibha, what are you seeing there?
Well, in fact, I'm stationed right outside Ella Hotel in Gachibowli, and just about an hour ago, all the leaders did arrive here, most of them from their respective constituencies, also headed by DK Shiv Kumar, one of the prominent leaders from Karnataka, who has been making key decisions here with respect to the next move of the Congress government in Telangana. And based on the meeting that took place, which was just a quick meeting of about 45 minutes, they came out, and Mr. DK Shiv Kumar did mention that they would be rushing to the Raj Bhavan to stake claim and form the government. And once all the leaders are in is when the legislative party meeting would take place, and that will be roughly at around 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. And the next steps would be decided soon after, once they decide on the CLP leader. But yes, as of now, the Congress wants to project itself as one party that has a sweeping majority in its place, even though the numbers are less. That's the image that they want to portray, and this is what we are picking up from the moves that have been planned out by the Congress government here.
We're also joined at this stage by Supriya Shinate of the Congress Party. Good evening, Supriya. It's been a tough day for the Congress Party. Of course, you've done extremely well in Telangana. But with this win in 3 states in the north, would you agree that the BJP has essentially been able to set the narrative ahead of the big elections next year, or do you believe that between now and then there is enough time for the India Alliance to sort of find some sort of narrative which works?
So thanks very much for having me on the show, and I'm reasonably certain that we will have a Congress Chief Minister in Telangana very soon. Yeah. I do not think there is seizing of the narrative as much as there is winning. I mean, and I am somebody who calls a spade a spade. Yes, we've lost the 3 Hindi heartland states, but I don't think all is lost. I mean, if you remember, before 2004 elections, we had lost exactly these states, and then we formed the government in the center. I am reasonably certain that there are palpable issues on the ground that we will capture as the India Alliance. I mean, today is the day that belongs to the BJP as far as Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh are concerned. I will, however, keep insisting, and I'm sounding like a broken record for some maybe, but I do think that I see a glimmer of hope in Rajasthan. I'm very disappointed with Madhya Pradesh, extremely disappointed with Chhattisgarh, but not as disappointed with Rajasthan, because in the previous few times where we have been incumbent, we have really been routed. The fact that we are holding on to those seats does tell us that schemes have been talked about, schemes are affected, But there was something else that worked on the ground, and that something else is perhaps things that we will have to work upon.
Yes.
And like they say, success has many fathers and failure has none.
Yes.
So I'm going to be humble in my defeat, but I do believe that this is not a script that can be pre-written for 2024.
Okay, so you certainly feel that
your position, does it weaken your position with the India alliance?
How does it weaken my position?
I mean, your partners would be saying that, look, you've not done well in terms of the Congress being the direct contest, plus the Congress being the largest party within the India alliance. Does it somewhat weaken your position within the alliance?
No, actually quite the contrary. I mean, we have wrested a state from a regional party, which if you ask me is a pretty
one
big
state,
deal.
but 3 states you've lost.
I'm coming to that. You seem to be very anxious to get answers out of me, and you will get all the answers that you want. Let me finish my statement, and then you can jump in. So I think wresting a state from a regional player is a pretty big deal. That's part number one. We've got over about 40% votes in almost all of these 3 states that we've lost. We've together got about 250 seats. So I don't think it weakens our position. Quite the contrary. I think we're very much in the game. And within the India Alliance, it is not a competition about who's winning or who's losing. We are together for a reason. And I'm reasonably certain the fact that we've been able to put up a good show in Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh, like I said, is disappointing. Chhattisgarh, I think there are enough issues to tie down the BJP on, and that is what we will be meeting and discussing and putting our collective minds to.
Right. All right, Supriya. Well, we're going to take a short break at this stage, because coming up right after that, my colleague Sanjay Pugalia speaks to Jyotiraditya Scindia, who's had a great day today. That's coming up in the next couple of minutes. So do stay tuned.
And Vishnu, during the break, Shazia had an interesting point. Yes, they may not have won the state of Telangana. They are a distant third, but they have some reasons to cheer, something that they have almost learned like a lesson what happened in the state of Bengal, where Mamata Banerjee lost to Shivendu Adhikari. So they want to send that message that they have somehow in this defeat managed to create a challenger or a contender, not only to KCR, the former chief minister, or an outgoing chief minister, but also a potential chief minister in Revanth Reddy.
Exactly.
In from Kamareddy.
And not just that, if you see, we got 6.98, when it comes to vote percentage, and now it's gone up to 13.8. So we've doubled our vote share, which is huge. But something very major is happening. When you look at, I heard Supriya Srinath talk about what would be the narrative leading up to 24. But I think I'm missing the big picture. And that was there encapsulated really well in the way Modi ji spoke. Something momentous is happening in our country. And that is, the whole identity politics. When he says that he believes in 4 castes, and those 4 castes are Yuva Shakti, Mahila Shakti, Kisan Shakti.
I think that's more about the class play, which is happening here.
No,
it's the class play.
No.
Because he understands that women as a gender constituency.
Women and youth would not be class play. So we are used to observing, practicing, and a certain kind of politics. The vote bank politics, the identity politics based on religion and caste. But somewhere this is blunting, and this is the new Modiism. This is the new Modi.
Okay, then how will the Congress and India blunt that point of 4 classes, or should I say new constituencies that the Prime Minister says is emerging for the BJP? Supriya? Okay,
all right, we don't have Supriya with us anymore. Would you like to take that question, Sanjay?
Yeah, Modi came out with this thing since the time Congress and all of India alliance tried to divide this Hindu consolidation in name of caste. After all, this was Nitish Kumar's Sagufa, the caste census. I call this Sagufa because there was nothing to say as to what after caste census, right? And Congress picked it up like Congress picks up anything from what Arun Jaitley used to say, rent a cause. And thereafter Congress tried to give its own shape, jitni abadi utna haq, which of course was rebutted. Modi in his previous
Sanjay, just to add to this point, we have seen the emergence of class, you know, the Garib Gurba for the BJP in 2017 UP. You know, that's where it started post demonetization and please come in on this, Amitabh. What is interesting here is that you cannot do mandal politics by being on the margins of OBC politics since your inception. Congress has not been an OBC party.
Yeah.
They have not done that. In fact, they have been anti-mandal. So, Amitabh, all of a sudden, you cannot reimagine yourself and say that we'll do caste census.
Can I just add 20 seconds?
Yeah, remember na jaat pe na paat pe, mohar lagegi haath pe.
Thereafter,
Indra ji ki baat pe. That was the nara. So
see,
it is.
The whole concept of Labharthi was based on there is no caste. Even some Muslim women voted for Prime Minister Modi. Yadavs voted for Modi in 14 and 19 because that is completely alienated as a social constituency for the BJP.
Yes.
That Labharthi cuts across because that delivery system. And here again, when you talk in terms of caste, Modi no longer or BJP no longer is talking Modi as OBC. That period is gone. Now when he talks about this, he bridges not just the religion, but this becomes panned across all religions.
I
Hindu,
have
Muslim,
a different
Sikh,
take
Isai.
on this, the OBC aspect, and I'll bring in Amitabh on this. You know, when the cabinet reshuffle happened this time around, the fact was about the OBC representation in the cabinet having gone up. If you look at the OBC representation in various states, the BJP has ensured that there is a proper OBC representation. But I think they realize that these caste blocks, yes, will stay with the party, but it is about creation of a new idea going ahead. And that's where the demographic aspirational classes of women and youth come in. Amitabh.
Yeah, essentially, see, BJP is already the OBC party.
Yes, they are the OBC party.
It has already cracked the caste census demand which the opposition is now relying on. That's number one. You mentioned about the beneficiary factor. 28% BJP voters in Madhya Pradesh who have voted for the party are beneficiaries. That is 1/3 of its total vote bank. Correct? So, कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स में बीजेपी ने ऑलरेडी क्लास का तड़का लगा दिया है। ये आज की बात नहीं है, ये बहुत पुरानी बात हो चुकी है। और कास्ट एंड इन कास्ट सेंसस यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कॉन्फ्रंटेशन, अगड़ा वर्सेस पिछड़ा, वेयर एज बीजेपी इज टॉकिंग अबाउट एसिमिलेशन, inclusiveness. So all these things, see, first of all, you have to set your house in order. You are demanding caste census. What is the proportion of candidates, OBC candidates have you given? What is the proportion of OBC members you have in your CWC? You are asking media, कौन कितने OBC बैठे हैं? अरे भाई साहब, पहले CWC में कितने OBC हैं आपको मालूम है? और कोई मीडिया वाला पूछता नहीं है सवाल। ये अजीबोगरीब बात है।
I just wanted to add one. So this caste census issue has fallen flat, you know, with the way the results have come out. Another issue which the opposition was banking on was the issue of OPS, and there was lot of churning within the opposition parties that if OPS is going to be projected, and of course we've seen Mr. Gehlot had announced that already that announcement for OPS was done, that this is what is going to draw the middle class towards them. But that also could not hold fort in front of the way their deliverance in terms of welfare schemes. It failed both in Chhattisgarh as well as in Rajasthan. So that also is an issue which we see that has been able to, could gather much steam in these elections.
And do you sense, Desh Ratan Nigam, that post-COVID, the idea of various castes have started, assimilating or should I say intermingling? Because these were moments that it was about individuals and everybody was a citizen. And I think the emphasis that the BJP keeps giving कि सरकार ने सबको टीका लगाया irrespective of what you were and who you were. Do you think all that mean, because those are moments that you realize mark a shift in politics, those are momentous moments, mark almost like tectonic shift in politics that we keep talking about?
See, beyond politics is our society.
Yes.
The entire society was on survival mode.
Yes.
And who came with vaccination? The Prime Minister. with the entire indigenously developed vaccine over a very short period of time, which had one of the highest success rates in the world. Ultimately, yes. And where everybody was doubting, people were laughing on this indigenous mechanism that India developed. So that survival mode cut across all the caste divides, class divides.
Right.
And that is where the government came in between, the Prime Minister came in between, and he took a lot of flack for that. Please remember, right from Supreme Court to everybody was, trying to raise banners at that point of time.
Okay, I think what we'll do right now is let's just go across to our big screen and take a look at what the overall situation is. I think over a period of time, what we've been doing is getting a bit caught up in the minutiae, which is fascinating in these elections. But in case our viewers are just joining us, then perhaps it's time to take a look at this. So we're going to take a look at seats and we're going to take a look at vote share. So let's start off first with Madhya Pradesh. This, of course, is absolutely huge. The BJP at 164. Who would have thought in the beginning of the day that this is where the BJP was going to be? The magic mark 116. Look at where they are presently. That's up 55. The Congress has done disastrously, down 49 from last time around. So that's what the seat situation is. If you take a look at the vote share, the BJP, of course, has gained both in terms of seats and vote share. They would with such a decisive mandate. 49% of the vote share is with the BJP. The Congress 8% less. So, I mean, there are no two ways about this. It's absolutely huge. But I think it is interesting, however, that in terms of vote share, there is no real difference. There is no difference for the Congress party. They've not managed to win seats. Their vote share, it appears, is the same as it was last time around. But look at this. The BJP up on seats, up in terms of vote share as well. I wonder if the Congress would be taking consolation from their vote share. Let's take a look at Rajasthan now. And again, start of the day, the sense was that this was likely to go to the BJP, but it could be close. A lot of the exit polls, in fact, got a lot of things wrong. But Rajasthan perhaps much more in favor of the BJP than most polls would have suggested. Up 42, down 30. One of the areas where the Congress has done well, I beg your pardon, the BJP has done well. And of course, to win a state, you'd have to do well everywhere. But the fact that in the Gujar areas, in eastern parts of Rajasthan, the BJP really made inroads in an area where the Congress in the past has been quite strong is a real testament to how they have gained across the state, well above the majority mark of 100 at 115. In terms of the vote share again, let's take a look at where that is. The vote share would be narrower between the BJP and the Congress party, 42 to the BJP, 40 to the Congress and its allies. Let's move to the next state now. In fact, let's stay on this for half a second more. The Congress has actually gained 1%. Congress and its allies have gained a little bit in terms of vote share. So that is interesting, but again, not translating into seats. Chhattisgarh, now this is where every exit poll has really gone wrong. There was a strong sense, perhaps even a sense of complacency at the level of the Congress party that they were going to win Chhattisgarh. There was nothing to it. They'd done all the right things. Baghel was untouchable. I should remind you, when Maria and I started anchoring in the morning, Baghel was actually trailing. Eventually that changed, that turned, but for a long period he was actually trailing, and that was perhaps symbolic in a sense of what went wrong with the Congress. I mean, with the majority mark of 46, the BJP at 54, who would have thought at the start of the day that Chhattisgarh would also go in favor of the BJP? And I think what is interesting as we bring up the vote share, and that'll be much closer, of course, is the Prime Minister talking in his victory speech this evening about how the Adivasi community was one that the BJP had worked extra hard, in a sense, one among four groups that he identified to sort of gain their trust and take them out of what he called the backwardness that the Congress had placed them in for decades. 47 to 43 over here. But just look at this, a vote share increase of 14 for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Finally, let's take a look at Telangana at this stage. And this is where the Congress party has a lot to be happy about. It is, in the context of the overall elections, a consolation, but it is an absolutely huge win for the Congress party, because for them to actually come to 65 is up 46, the BRS down 49. For them to to have a 20% or so swing in certain cases, is absolutely remarkable. But don't forget the third party over here. Yes, compared to the Congress or the BRS, the BJP is far behind. But remember, last time around they were only at 1, so it's a gain of 7 from last time. And I think seat share would be quite interesting to see the difference between the Congress and its allies and the BRS. So let's have the next one I beg your pardon, the vote share. And the vote share at this stage is the Congress at 40, the BRS at 38, and the BJP, and this is where the BJP will be taking a lot of interest in this number, that yes, the seats have gone up, perhaps not as much as they would have liked, but the fact that their seat share, their vote share rather, has gone up to 14% is something that they would be welcoming. So that's what the overall situation is, and it's on the basis of this that we have the Prime Minister spell out the agenda from now to the next elections. The BJP, I suspect, has already entered poll season as far as 2024 is concerned.
Absolutely, Vishnu. When you say the poll season, if you look at Prime Minister's speech, that is setting the agenda going ahead and going forward. That was a very forward-looking speech. It's a victory speech and also an election speech. Sending a message, Amitabh, to what his Karyakartas should be looking at. But I think the point here that has been made about the catchment areas, and I think it will be also too much of a binary to and very limiting, I would say, to look at these elections as some leaders are doing, as some kind of north versus south. I'm not too sure if that is the right prism to look at it, because even in the state of Telangana, going up from 1 to 8 and identifying potential catchment areas, which includes also Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. So essentially, if you see across states,
yes,
BJP has gained vote share.
Yes.
Congress vote share has remained the same, even in the Hindi heartland. Others have got squeezed out even in Vidhan Sabha election. And in Telangana, BJP has gained 7%, largely at the expense of others. The third parties, smaller parties, with the contest becoming bipolar largely, they are getting squeezed out. And you mentioned about the forward-looking, the speech. The next goal is to break the record of 414 of Rajiv Gandhi of 1984.
I think that is
Modi is the man of records.
Shazia, for a moment. And I want to flip or look at the question which Maria asked from the opposite standpoint. That suppose there is a north versus south. I mean, it is quite clear that there is one. This is resounding for the BJP in terms of the north. Do you believe that that is where our country is right now, looking forward to the next elections? At the south, the Congress has done really well in Telangana after doing really well in Karnataka. The BJP, the BJP doesn't have much of a say in Kerala and in Tamil Nadu presently. Therefore, there is consolidation for the opposition led by the Congress in the south of the country, not so in the north. So is that a factor that the BJP will have to deal with in 2024?
So in Karnataka, we were in power 3 times. So it's not that it's totally new, that was the citadel that we were in the south. But you look at all the states and the CR score, we were 0-5 or 0-4 if you look at the 4. What are we now? 3-1. Right. Even in the last one, Telangana, we have made huge strides. So it's just been a gain and again and again and again for BJP. As for the south, I think Karnataka was a loss definitely and a big setback. But like we came from 2 to 303, I'm sure we'll be working. And now another thing, when you talk about Tamil Nadu especially, I think this has also costed them, this whole thing of obliterating Sanatan Dharma.
Yeah, so that
is a huge factor.
Played out in Chhattisgarh as well.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought?
Who would have thought? And Chhattisgarh, I mean, nobody expected us to have such huge gains. I thought we'll do well. Amit Shah ji predicted it and said we'll making a clear, we'll have a government there, clear majority, simple and absolute. But the fact of the matter is we didn't expect the numbers to be so high.
Right.
There is something to be said there that clearly is just on the pulse of the people, but a redefining of how BJP and Modi ji is looking at the new constituents. new India. And also it's a two-way process. Even the voters are changing. You know, there is something happening there. That is a tectonic shift I was talking about in our politics. So the expectations are different. So it is development oriented. You know, all this talk of Hindutva. You see what Prime Minister talked about today? Only Vikas and development. And
that's fascinating. And I wanted to ask Deshrathanji about that. The Hindutva ideology, focus, backbone exists for the BJP that is untouched. But it just seems to me, based on what the Prime Minister has said, that for the next elections, that's not the number one plank. It's not the plank which the BJP will be going into the elections with. They're confident of that identity. They want to focus on development. 4 groups identified makes sense from the standpoint of votes, makes sense from the standpoint of development.
Well, Vishnu, Hindutva is already well established.
Yeah, so we are beyond that in a sense for 2024.
And in fact, other parties are now following it. So
in Chhattisgarh, we saw that.
All rest
and
of them are now.
Temple on 22nd of January, we are.
So that is done. So, and secondly, immediately after the Indie Alliance's attack on Sanatan Dharma, which actually jolted a lot of people, even the silent ones, that there was no provocation. There was nothing in the air, but you still provoked people. So those 2 factors. And secondly, as we talk of the South, Karnataka, even last time they had swept. However, the Telangana being the gateway, BJP has to very carefully stitch alliances now in the South. Whether it is Tamil Nadu, the Annamalai is doing very well. He's almost uplifted the mood in the state. Telangana is 14%. And if they have an excellent alliance in Telangana and Andhra, so there could be a possibility that BJP can, you know, talk about, as Amitabh was talking about, ab ki baar 400 ke paar. So probably they are looking at Modi being, as rightly pointed out, a man of records. And that is where he's coming into play, and they are shifting the narrative. They've changed the definition of the caste also today. As rightly pointed, it's both caste and otherwise.
Sure.
Exactly. That paradigm, it's a paradigm shift. Please remember that.
And talking about that paradigm shift, we have often seen, Shankar Iyer, that when UP was won, after that, the first national executive of the BJP was held in Bhubaneswar. So the message was that going forward, it will be Eastern India, be it Bengal, Orissa, that will be the focus area. So the point was, look east. Now, with the Hindi heartland being won and having lost Karnataka, what is the policy of the BJP? What are they looking at?
He outlined it in his speech. He has touched on 5 major market shares that he is targeting, which is the youth, women, farmers.
Can you get me?
And the aspirational class. Now, once you have that, you have to look at the historic record of the BJP. In the 2014 election, they won about 130 seats with a 50% vote share. In 2019, that moved to 225. Now, just draw the graph. I think in Gujarat, they have had a historic victory. In Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, they have had a historic victory. In Uttar Pradesh, they have had historic victory. So the idea of creating history is not for the sake of records, but to capture the momentum. And in this case, I think the target will be to sort of have at least 300 seats or more with 50% vote share. That makes BJP impregnable. Now, what kind of seats you will get when you work for 300 seats with a 50% vote share? I think that the next record that will be broken will be Rajiv Gandhi's record. Now, how do they work on it? How do they bring that about? That's basically the politics of it. I don't think the issue is so much about South versus North or whatever. What is Mr. Modi looking at? Mr. Modi is looking at total domination. And that, if you see the slogans of the last 10 years, whether it is Congress, Mukt Bharat, or whatever he says, it's basically total domination.
Yes, I agree with you. You know, Shankar, when you said that, and Sanjay sir was making that point, that Prime Minister Modi has this obsession of beating records. So when they won, the manner in which they won the state of Gujarat, it was beating their own record and the margin was phenomenal. Look at Madhya Pradesh again. This is BJP's best performance ever with 164. Those are the visuals coming in of the Raj Bhavan, where you can see the Congress leaders step out. DK Shiv Kumar along with Revanth Reddy and other leaders of the party. They just met Governor of Telangana, Tamil Sai, and let's listen into what they are saying now.
I will put the mic, but this is not the way, no? Frame, sir? Elisa, can you bend down a little bit, please? Elisa, can you bend down? Bend down. You have to come forward a little bit. Sir, please. Sir, please. Sir, you are...
We can't satisfy all logos.
Can you hold this also? I'm unable. This is my DJ. Give me one. Okay, you come.
Please.
Sir, can you come a little?
Okay.
Come.
Very. Today, under the leadership of our in charge General Secretary, Mr. Manikrao Thakur, PCC President, former PCC President, and all our ACC observers, we have met the Governor today. We have claimed to form the government. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, we have called a meeting of the Congress Legislative Party, MLAs. Since they all are not able to reach late night, it may take some time. So tomorrow 9:30 is the Congress Legislative Party meeting which has been fixed. So after that, we will come back to you. So we have claimed the formation of the government.
Sir, when are you forming the government? What is the date?
We have claimed the formation of the government. Tomorrow we are meeting. We have a procedure in the Congress party. We will come out with the procedure and we will come back to you.
Sir, what is governor said? Sir, what about the chief minister?
I can't disclose what the governor said and all. It is between me and the governor. We have claimed the formation of the government with 65 members in this new elected house.
Sir, we said Sir, Revanth Reddy, sir.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Okay, those are the visuals coming in where DK Shiv Kumar, who is in charge of Telangana for the Congress party, along with Revanth Reddy, the man of the moment, who could very well be the head of the CLP by tomorrow morning and head to Raj Bhavan very soon to take oath as the Chief Minister as well. But as we have been discussing, it's about sending a message of total dominance. And that's what has happened today with Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan. The entire Hindi Patti or Hindi belt has been won by the BJP, and what a victory it has been. And they have managed to increase their vote share as well, Sanjay.
Yeah, about 9% in Madhya Pradesh, which is huge.
Yes.
Rajasthan, again, they have increased their vote share, and same in Chhattisgarh. What is interesting here, I fail to understand what was Congress's hurry out there in Telangana, in Hyderabad, to go to Raj Bhavan when you have majority mark, just to say they're actually jittery. That indicates that they are not very confident of their vote.
Among their own, for their own MLAs.
Who have won have come from BRS.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is one.
Revanth Reddy himself.
नहीं इस बार अभी हाल फिलहाल में
Yeah, so they are actually worried on that count, and that's why DK Shiv Kumar was appointed observer out there. So if need be, he can pull resources, marshal out contingency plan and something, send people to whatever,
yes, that
to his resort and whatever.
Urgency is a good point. Perhaps the Congress will be able to respond to that. What was this urgency without the CLP meeting, without choosing the head of the CLP, the Congress going to say that give us time till tomorrow, we will be coming with the signature of all our MLAs and then stake claim to form the government. But yes, 65 is not too much of comfort for the Congress party at the moment. Yes, they have crossed the halfway mark, but a comfort of just 5 MLAs, and most of these MLAs who have been fielded or candidates of the Congress party are from the BRS.
Some of them are from BRS.
Congress
They
quite
just
clearly
jumped the
once bitten, many times,
Yes.
but not once, more than once bitten, many times shy.
They don't
Goa,
want-
what has happened in Madhya Pradesh as well, they don't like the rug to be pulled under their feet. Keep them in that hotel, keep them nice, stake claim to form a government, and then let's see what happens tomorrow. They'll go through
Goa, they were
that
single largest
entire-
party, not in
Yes.
majority.
Yeah.
Here, the situation is different.
Okay, I just want to quickly go through, and if we can bring up on the screen the region-wise look at where the parties have done well. So let's take a look first at Telangana. These, of course, are images of the BJP leaders, of the Congress leaders coming out. Tomorrow's CLP meeting at 9:30, Congress Legislature Party meeting. So let's just take a look at the maps, if we can, and the region-wide split in terms of regions in Telangana. And this is interesting because all across the state, this is what the overall situation is. 65 for the Congress, that's up 46. And let's just get into the regions over here if we can. If we go to the next page, we should be able to see the regions. In fact, let's take a look at Chhattisgarh. We don't have the breakup over there, so we'll come to that later on. So that's what the situation is in Telangana, as what we were just discussing now, Maria.
Yes. So Telangana, as we had those visuals come in, but I would ask the producer to actually put out those graphics where we are discussing how the BJP support in the Hindi belt is only swell. It has grown, and the manner in which it has grown, nobody gave them a chance in Chhattisgarh. Perhaps everybody thought that after anti-incumbency of 4-term, the Chief Minister won't be able to return to power. But just look at those numbers that have started coming in. BJP winning 3 on 3. What are the reasons and why have the pollsters got it so horribly wrong? Just look at it. It's very clear that there is a massive BJP wave in the Hindi heartland. These 3 states that they had lost in 2018, the party has gone on to win this time around. And they have trounced the Congress in the Hindi belt, these 3 states, and it was a direct bipolar contest. So the Congress has much to explain to India partners when they meet on 6th of December. Looking at Chhattisgarh, particularly here, nobody gave BJP a chance. It was seen as complete dominance of Bhupesh Baghel. But here they came up with the formula of collective leadership under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There was an interesting event that happened in fact, Bhupesh Baghel is speaking. Let's listen in now.
पता चलेगा लेकिन जो जनादेश मिला है उसका हम सम्मान करते हैं।
सर, लेकिन जो छत्तीसगढ़ियावाद को लेकर सर आप लोग आगे बढ़े थे, जो छत्तीसगढ़ियावाद को लेकर आप आगे बढ़े थे कल्चर पे और सारी चीजों पे, लेकिन उस पर भी सफलता नहीं मिल पाई।
देखिए, अब वो तो समीक्षा करने से पता चलेगा, लेकिन अभी जनादेश भारतीय जनता पार्टी को मिला है और मैं उनको बधाई देता हूँ।
हार का क्या कहा सर? छत्तीसगढ़ बड़ा पत्थर है, सुना मुख्यमंत्री भूपेश बघेल।
Bhupesh Baghel, Desh Ratan Nigam, had that, the tadka or the mixture quite well. He had tried to copy the BJP playbook of Hindutva, tried to marry it with welfareism. Why do you think people did not take his welfareism plus Hindutva seriously?
The fact is, a copy always remains a copy. The original will always remain an original. So, when you become a...
And same thing happened in Madhya Pradesh.
Yes, when you become a Chunavi Hindutva or Chunavi Hindu, I think people see through it. And secondly, what they undermined or probably overlooked, the tribal votes. Where a lot of work was done, and the Prime Minister referred to it also. That had already, in fact, I had said so that we are winning on the day of the exit poll, that we are winning Chhattisgarh because tribal votes have come back, which was not there because of Ajit Jogi in the previous elections. That vote bank has come. and which is one of the turning factors. And they concentrated on tribal votes not only in Chhattisgarh but Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan also. The Meenas have gone back.
Right.
So that also you see the lot of work has gone among the tribals, and that was paid dividends out here.
In fact, the graphics you have on your screen are the graphics which I was hoping to have gotten a little while back. It is interesting if you look at where the BJP has gained, where the Congress has lost out. This actually looks at South Chhattisgarh. The Congress down 7 in an area where they had done well last time. The BJP up 8 over here. Let's just move to the next couple of states if we can, to actually look at the split of the BJP and the Congress in the various states. So after Chhattisgarh, if we can just pull out another state and talk through where the parties have done well. Rajasthan has been fascinating, for example, with the BJP doing quite well in eastern parts of the state. But this is Chhattisgarh, north. Again, the BJP has done well. The Congress, compared to last time around, 40% of the vote share, no gain or loss over here. So that is interesting. The BJP, of course, has gained substantially. If you look in Madhya Pradesh, and this is the Bundelkhand region, the Congress has gained, so has the BJP over here, to the detriment of the BSP. But the gap between the Congress and the BJP, absolutely huge. Not so in the Chambal region, just a 2% gap. No change in the percentage for the BJP over there, the seat the vote percentage, but seats, of course, they've done badly. So, and that's the Mahakoshal area. The Congress up 1, but the BJP up 7. So all in all, a fairly resounding performance of the BJP. And of course, this is Malwa, which defines this entire election. Just look at this. The gap is, it's the vote percentage is 10% for the BJP over here. And as always, and Amitabh, just run us through this one point. Whoever wins the Malwa region ends up winning. So that's where they won it.
88 seats.
Essentially.
Agri-distress, ST Belt, Nimad, 28 seats, 20 were won by the Congress.
Right.
And they're even losing in Mahakoshal, which is Kamal Nath's area.
Yeah.
Just the graphic before this.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And so that's just a quick look at what the overall situation is. Do we have the package ready of the Hindi Heartland? Okay, we're going to try and play that up in a few moments from now.
But Vishnu, undoubtedly the big takeaways
as we... East Rajasthan. This is the interesting part. Look at it, up 7% for the BJP over here in an area where they hadn't done well last time. Maria.
Yes. To sum up our day-long coverage, big takeaways from the battle for states, the verdict that has come today. All pollsters got it wrong to begin with. It wasn't really 2-2, making both the BJP and the Congress happy. It's clear that it is Modi wave all through in the Hindi Heartland, and Congress has no narrative for Hindi Heartland, so they have much to worry. On road to 2024, Prime Minister Modi and the BJP remain firmly in the pole position, and Congress has no counter to the Modi magic. Vishnu.
Absolutely. That's what seems to be the dominant position, the dominant narrative, I would suggest, on the basis of what's happened. Well, it's been a really hectic day for Maria, for me, for our guests.
And to everybody
in our election war room. And I think everybody wants to grab some sleep because it's not over yet. You were wondering about Mizoram. Mizoram will be counted tomorrow, so we'll be bringing you all the details on that. But what an election it has been for the BJP, an important consolation win for the Congress party as well. But the agenda for 2024 quite clearly established. From Maria, me, and the entire NDTV team, good night. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching.